What's up, my dudes? I'm Lego Gun Builds, and I have another MOC video for you guys today. So, my inspiration for today's MOC was I was just looking at one of my Lego Architecture Skyline sets, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there was a themed architecture set? So, I present to you the Lego Lord of the Rings Mordor Skyline. So in this MOC, I have three structures from Mordor. On the left, we have the Black Gate. In the center, we have Barad-dûr, or Sauron's Tower. And on the right, we have Mount Doom. So I'm just going to take you guys and review the whole thing. Starting with the Black Gate, you can just see here, I have the two main towers. I tried to base all these off artwork and concept design from the movies. I just searched some pictures and made sure it was as accurate as possible. For example, in the pictures, this tower to the right, it's not connected to the rest of the gate, while the one on the left is. You can see there's that one piece right there. So the gate here, I use some of these pieces with the ridges inside of them because they look like the ridges of the gate, so I thought those are pretty appropriate. Those two studs are like two of the main towers on the gate, and then these black cheese slopes are almost like there's sections that extend into these mountains here, into the rock, so that's what I use to just represent that. And with these towers, I just got a 1x1 black brick at the bottom, two black cylinders, and then to make this, I got a 1x1 brick with studs on all sides and attached these tooth pieces on top of each side, and that's how I got that tower design. Otherwise, there's not much else to see. I mean, there's some pretty cool rock work. There's not much on the back here, but I like it. It's pretty accurate. It's all of this was hard to do at the scale, but I'd say this was one of the easiest parts of the MOC, but I think this is pretty cool. So moving on to the middle, Sauron's Tower of Barad-dûr. So you got the lava moat, just using orange plates. And I used an arch piece for the front gate there, and two little towers at the entrance. One of the main features, or just, I guess, visuals of Sauron's Fortress is just a giant rock protruding through the middle of all of it. So that's what I represented there. I kind of continued from the Black Gate and just made it go over here. Oops. So that's about that. I guess I'll just move around. And I did include, there's two larger, like, smaller towers on this fortress, and this is accurate that this one is taller than this one, and there's one on each side. I tried to make it as accurate as possible, and the level of detail here is pretty lackluster because this scale is just so small. There's not much else I really could have done, but I think with the space that I had, I think it worked out pretty well. So just moving around the back here, there's some more of the rocks, just some, really, my strategy with building this fortress, this was probably the hardest part of the MOC, because there's just so much detail. There's rows of battlements everywhere, so this is definitely the hardest part, and I guess, started greebling and hoped it looked like it. I just tried to go for the general shape, and the rest kind of fell into place. So, yeah, I think that looks about as good as I can get it. And then we go up to the tower, and there's so many, like, arches and nice details on the tower, but that's, like, near impossible to get at this scale. So I just went with these bricks. I mean, there was not much else I could do. And then up here, we got the Eye of Sauron, which at this scale, again, is really hard to make, so I just did it with some studs. And I did try several other, like, spike designs for the top, and this just worked the best. This was definitely the hardest part. it wasn't easy, but I think it turned out pretty nice. And then moving over to the right, we have, of course, Mount Doom. And yeah, it's looking a little square, but I only had so much room. But I think it looks nice. I just did a lot of random rock work, and I think it looks pretty nice. I tried to make sure no one side looked the same, and I think it looks pretty spot on, if I'm being honest. And Lord of the Rings fans, I know you'll probably say, but there was a gate on there, and you can see it in the movie. Yes, but if I were to put a gate on here, like to enter the heart of the volcano, it would be like one black stud or two black studs on the side, and that would just look really awkward, so I just didn't do that. But I think overall, Mount Doom looks pretty nice, and there's a little extra detailing inside, so you can see some lava in there with the One Ring being melted. And if I take off a couple of these slopes here, there we go. You can see I put a lot more lava in than you can what actually you can see. So there's that. So overall, I think this is pretty cool. Took me like a couple hours to build, and mainly like that took me like 20 minutes. That took me like half an hour, and it was mainly just making sure it was accurate. But this thing took me like an hour to make, and while it isn't that big, it was just trying to mess with designs to make it look the most accurate, and this is what I came up with, and I'm pretty proud of it. So that's that. Oh, and also, if we turn it on its side here, the underside is just black plates, and if you haven't noticed, there's a black tile border around the whole thing, inspired by Lego architecture sets. So that's the whole MOC for you right there. And that's all I have for you guys right now. If you liked this MOC, please hit the like button. If you have any ideas for future MOCs videos, maybe you want me to do another one of these, just comment down below. If you want to stay updated with future content, please subscribe and put on notifications. And keep each other safe, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LEGO Gun Builds, signing off.